You woke up this morning, you hit snooze, made coffee, checked your phone. Now picture your direct ancestor 2.5 million years ago in East Africa. They were crouching behind a bush, completely naked, holding nothing but a rock, while a lion-sized prehistoric hyena decided whether to eat them for breakfast. Homo habilis stood about 4 feet tall and weighed 60 pounds. They had no sharp claws, no heavy armor, and no 911 to call. They woke up every single day in a savanna crawling with leopards, crocodiles, and giant predatory bears. But that terrified, shivering ancestor survived. They made it through that morning and the next, through ice ages and volcanic winters. Every single ancestor in your lineage survived long enough to have children. You are the result of a chain that never broke. That ancestor deliberately picked up a rock, hit it against another at an exact angle, and created a sharp edge. When other predators left animal carcasses picked clean, Homo habilis walked up, smashed a bone open with their stone tool, and ate the marrow inside, a rich, untapped source of fat and protein. In an environment packed with natural killing machines, we never dominated by being the strongest or the fastest. We secured our existence by outthinking the rest of the food chain. Fast forward roughly 1.5 million years to a taller, more advanced ancestor, Homo erectus. At this point, lightning struck dry grass constantly, and every animal on Earth obeyed one absolute rule: run. Fire kills. But one day, a group of Homo erectus stopped running. Someone reached out, picked up a burning branch, and carried it back to the group. They overrode millions of years of deeply programmed panic, choosing to investigate the heat rather than flee from it. Taming fire provided warmth and protection, but it also solved a massive biological problem. Digesting raw roots and raw meat requires enormous physical energy. When early humans started dropping their food into the fire, the heat essentially pre-digested the calories for them. As we look at this biological schematic, notice the shift in energy distribution. Because the gut no longer had to work endlessly to extract nutrients, evolution redirected that surplus energy straight up. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the human digestive tract shrank and the brain rapidly expanded. Harvard primatologist Richard Wrangham spent decades analyzing this transition. His fossil analysis shows that without the specific invention of cooking, we would not have developed the biological brain capacity required for advanced intelligence. You are, in the strictest biological sense, the direct product of an ancient campfire. For most of our history, we shared the planet. The Neanderthals were not the grunting brutes of popular myth. Fossil evidence proved they buried their dead with intention, made jewelry, played primitive instruments, and actively healed their injured peers. They were thinking, grieving people. Roughly 45,000 years ago, modern Homo sapiens pushed into Europe, and the Neanderthal population rapidly declined. We were slightly more organized, trading across larger networks, and slightly more efficient at long-distance hunting. In the brutal mathematics of the ancient world, a slight advantage dictates survival. They eventually went extinct. But in 2010, geneticist Svante Pääbo extracted the Neanderthal genome directly from 40,000-year-old bone fragments, work that later won him the Nobel Prize. This diagram shows exactly what he uncovered. Homo sapiens and Neanderthals interbred. If you have European or Asian ancestry, 1 to 4% of your DNA belongs to them. The Neanderthals survive right now, hidden inside your cells. Around 70,000 years ago, a supervolcano in Indonesia called Mount Toba erupted. For scale, the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption ejected 1 cubic kilometer of material. Toba ejected 2,800 cubic kilometers. Ash blotted out the sun and caused global temperatures to plummet. Look at this population map. Geneticists tracking human DNA found a severe bottleneck corresponding to this exact period. The total human population on Earth collapsed to somewhere between 3,000 and 10,000 individuals. We were inches from extinction. But those thousands of survivors adapted. They began to move. Generation by generation, they spread along coastlines, pushed through Asia and Europe, and crossed the ice bridge into the Americas. Within 50,000 years, they colonized every landmass except Antarctica. No other large animal has spread so widely. Because we didn't wait thousands of years to evolve thicker fur for the snow, we stitched clothes. We adapt the environment to fit our needs. About 40,000 years ago, humans began crawling deep into the pitch-black passages of European cave systems. They carried small, flat stones burning with animal fat to light the dark. And they painted. They drew horses, lions, and woolly mammoths. The anatomy and motion were captured with such brilliance that 19th century archaeologists initially dismissed them as modern forgeries. When Pablo Picasso visited the Lascaux caves, he reportedly remarked, "We have invented nothing." Beyond the animals, they left something more personal. They pressed their hands flat against the cold stone, put a hollow tube to their lips, and blew pigment over their fingers to leave a perfect outline. Men, women, and children all left their marks together. These people experienced daily life in a way most modern humans do not. While the average American works 8 to 10 hours a day, anthropologists calculate that hunter-gatherers secured their food in 3 to 5 hours. The rest of their time was spent socializing in bands of about 50 people. You knew everyone. Nobody was isolated. Those painted handprints are the remnants of that community. They aren't trying to sell anything, and they aren't marking a territory. They are a simple, shared message transmitted across 40,000 years. I existed. I mattered. Historian Yuval Noah Harari points out that language allows us to build shared fictions, stories, myths, and beliefs that exist purely in our collective imagination. As this diagram illustrates, chimpanzees can form tight groups, but beyond about 50 individuals, the social bonds break down. Humans, however, can use a shared belief, a god, an ancestor, a nation, to instantly connect thousands of strangers into a stable, cooperative network. We started with a sharp rock and a captured fire. We absorbed our Neanderthal neighbors, survived a volcanic winter, painted our hands on stone walls, and sat around campfires inventing stories to bind our tribes together. Every nation, religion, and scientific discovery grew from those prehistoric leaps. But the most drastic pivot was still ahead of us. Next time, we hit the moment humans stopped following their food and started planting it.